Hello everybody, it's Flesson19 and welcome to the most profitable workshops guide for 1.6.4. I highly recommend that people listen to this intro as there are a lot of questions asked that have been answered in these initial sections. So these are broken down into 3 sections, with the first part being for everyone, the second part for people that have never seen one of my workshop guides before, and the third section containing all the prices. In 1.6.4, there were a few changes. First of all, wool weaveries are back down again to where they were in 1.6.2, so they are no longer OP. As far as the rest of the workshops, a lot of them took a big hit. Prices are down pretty much across the board. There are certain ones that really have not been affected. The color coding will be as what I've had before. When you see gold, that means it should average over 200 per day. When you see silver, it should make between 100 and 199 a day. And if you see silver with 2 asterisks, that means it will most likely make under 100 a day. And the only reason why I do that is because there are towns that can not have one that makes over 100 a day. What I wanted to do also was perform 2 tests this time, as I got questions about this. First of all, dealing with progression into the game to show how things get different compared to with inflation. So I took 3 points in the game, and I took 4 shops that are out of the way and for the most part aren't touched. So I took a wool weavery in Otengard. At day 100, it made 280. A pottery in Iacus made 115, a brewery in Sinala 131, and a silversmith in Ostrakan made 171. I then progressed it to day 500. The wool weavery went down to 255. The pottery went up to 169. The brewery went up to 273. And the silversmith went up to 267. So as the game stabilized, the prices went up. Now, Tailworld considers inflation to be approximately 50% per 10 to 15 years. So, 500 days is right at the beginning of inflation. That's right at the 10-year mark. So I advanced it to 1,000 days, which is well past the 50% inflation. The wool weavery dropped to 226. The pottery shop dropped to 130. The brewery to 239, and the silversmith down to 240. As you can see from that, as inflation kicks in, the prices go down. One of the biggest reasons why I wanted to explain this is because I get people asking me that the prices are different from what I am giving you. I will give you these prices at approximately day 300 near the beginning of the game, where inflation hasn't kicked in, but it's given enough time for the economy to stabilize. That is why prices can be so different. Throughout the game, these will fluctuate. So that is why at the beginning, compared to when I give this to you, you could see vastly different prices. So that goes to show you inflation is not your best friend. The last test that I want to show you guys is also micromanaging, which I've talked about before. When you buy a shop, if you really want to get the profit, you buy the outputted product that they put out. So I bought this brewery here in Sinala, and I tracked the price over 35 days. You can see at day 1, it made 159. I bought all the beer. And then as the price goes up to day 10, you see it slowly raise to 311. On day 11, it was also 311, and then it started to drop. By day 20, it was down to 269. By day 30, it was down to 234. So it is approximately 35 days from what I ran. So if you buy up all the product, you figure you've got 35 days approximately before the prices are going to come back down again, and you need to go ahead and buy the products. So that lets you know that about a month and a half into the game from when you buy the product, you need to come back and buy the product again. That is for the people that want to micromanage their workshops to get the most money out of them. Once again, because the wool rereads now from 1.6.3 are no longer OP, I have included my top 5 workshops in the game. You will see that. I didn't do it for 1.6.3 because they were all wool rereads. So, for the people that have watched my video before, you can now look at the timestamps and go to exactly what you're looking for. For the people that have never seen my video before, there are a couple things that I want you to realize. First of all, when I do this as an average. I will run these for 2 months, and every day I will write down the numbers. Therefore, if any shop goes idle, it drops. And therefore, that is going to affect the average. So I don't take the most that it makes or the least it makes. I take the average over 2 months, and then I run it again to try to make sure that it is within 20% of the first numbers. And that is how I get these numbers. So it's not just the highest that it can make. I give you what I believe will be the average price that you will have for a workshop. There are also approximately a dozen factors that can influence what your workshops can make. When it comes down to armies buying out all the consumable goods, wars with castles changing hands, thieves getting ransacked, caravans coming through and taking all the supplies that you need for your shop, there are literally a dozen factors. So every time you play a game, it is most likely going to be different. And that is why I tell people you take these numbers as a guide. They're not going to be the same. You could run a test 30 times and you might get 30 different numbers. That is why I don't give you an exact number. I give you an approximation of what it should make, because it is virtually impossible to boil this down to a single number. I just try to tell you what is going to be really good, what is going to be okay, and what for the most part is going to be junk. You will see that I've included timestamps. So when you come back to this, all you need to do is click on the kingdom that you're looking for with their settlement, and it will show you all the prices that you need. As I said, gold is the best, silver is next, and always go from left to right. If you have multiple shops that are silver, always start with the one that is on the left. If you have any questions or you noticed anything different, put them down in the comments so that way it can be corrected, and you can also let other people know in case you find something different. Since this is never going to be 100% accurate, and there is a good chance that I could have missed something in the testing, because, as I said, this is never going to be 100% accurate. So there's your workshop guide for 1.6.4. I will see you in 1.6.5. As always, take care, and thanks for watching.